Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Scream Network. In this video, I want to talk about David Arquette's character, Dewey Riley. Dewey was probably the most lovable, likable, enjoyable character of the series, if you ask me. He was certainly the most lovable. Maybe not the most enjoyable. I think Gail's probably the most enjoyable because of her attitude and her aggression. But Dewey was certainly the most lovable and likable character. I think we have Dewey and then we have Randy. These two together were just the best pair. They were both lovable characters that both died in tragic ways, and we were very sad to see them go. Dewey got lucky. He was able to survive way more, right? A lot longer. He was in 5 of the installments. Poor Randy died in mid of the second, so he didn't get to go on and enjoy more of the success of the installments, right? Jamie Kennedy. And he's expressed that in many of his podcasts and videos because he has his own podcast. And, he wants to come back and play Randy. I think it's possible. I think there's a possibility that we could see him in 7. I also want to address that I think we can see Dewey in 7. It seems like we're going in a direction where anything is possible in the next one, which, might I add, I feel could be the very last installment for the legacy characters. I've said that in my previous videos. I've made 2 other videos regarding Scream 7. This is a new channel, so expect more news. But I've already addressed my idea and my thoughts on what I think is going to happen in 7 and how I think that ultimately this will be the last installment for the original cast, the legacy characters, which at this point is now only Nev and Courtney. However, I think we're going to see some past characters return. We got word that Roman, aka Scott Foley, will be returning. We also got word that Matthew Lillard will be returning as Stu Macher. Now, both of these characters were killed, so how can they return? Well, I think we know the answer to that, right? The same way Billy Loomis came. As a ghost. Now, I don't know if that's exactly how these other characters will return. It's possible. Will Nev Campbell start to see the ghosts of Roman, Stu, perhaps Billy? Maybe she'll be haunted by their spirits. That's possible. Or at least she'll think that she's being haunted by them. There may be moments in this movie where she starts to see and remember everyone that was in her life that was affected by Ghostface or related to the murders that happened in Woodsboro to some degree. Yeah, I think that's very possible. I don't know for sure if that's what's going to happen, but it is possible. And I think that this gives an opportunity for a character such as Dewey to come back. We haven't seen him since 5. And the way that he was killed off so brutally and tragically leaves viewers wanting closure, wanting to see him one more time play that character, see David be Dewey again, because the way they killed him, like I said, was brutal. We had to sit through the entire scene, which was the most uncomfortable scene, if you ask me, in the entire installment series, any of the films. That was the hardest to watch. At least with Randy, he was pulled in. We saw Ghostface, but we didn't see Randy actually being killed. We saw his body after. That was confirmation that he was dead. But we didn't sit there and watch it happen. Not in real time like we did with Dewey. It was minute by minute, second by second, horrible. Sounds were terrible. And it was just depressing as hell watching someone that was in the series for 25 years, the most lovable and most undeserving person to get such a brutal death. If you ask me, that was very unkind. Directors, they wanted to, the screenwriters, they wanted to shock people and elevate the game and let you know that this is scarier than the original. We're back and we'll go to any level. And they made their point. And I think after, I'm told that they rewatched the scene and they were kind of, hesitant to release it. They were like, I don't know if we should do this, but they knew that it would spice things up. They knew it would shock the audience and grab them by their throat. And it did. Many left the theaters very upset, nightmares thinking about it. It feels like family, right? Dewey was family. We grew up watching him in all these films, and David was very attached to the character. And I know David wants to come back. And in the Scream world, it's possible. But he is dead. His character, Dewey, is dead. Randy is dead. I think Roman and Stu are both dead. There's going to be some kind of way to return them, either in a memory or ghosts, perhaps. There might be a scene where Sydney has a meltdown and starts seeing the ghosts of everyone that's, like I said, been in her life, that's been affected by the murders of Woodsboro. This is what we could see. Dewey could be just a memory. There could be a scene where she remembers talking to him about something, and off camera, of course, later years after the murders took place of part 4. That's possible. Something that we didn't see. She could remember something important that he said to her. That's possible, right? So we might get that. As far as Roman and as far as Stu, that could be a ghost, right? That she could be haunted by them, or it could be vice versa. Maybe someone else, or maybe someone else will be telling the story of Roman and Stu and Billy, and that's how we'll kind of get a flashback of that. Someone could be telling Nev or Sidney Prescott, this is what happened and this and that. Maybe someone related to Roman might be the killer, or someone related to Stu or Billy somewhere. So these are all possibilities. Anything can happen. So, and then we might just see like Dewey as like an angel, maybe coming to her at a time of darkness, maybe a near-death experience at some point throughout this movie. And he kind of comes to her and gives her the will to live, perhaps, right? Because we might consider Dewey an angel in a way. If you really think about it, his character was the most purest of everyone in the film. Like, he did nothing but offer help in every movie. And he always put himself out there. He was always getting stabbed. He was always, he was so close to death so many times. And I think that's why they're like, well, we just got to do it. But I mean, it's the same for all of them. How many times has Gail almost died? She's been shot 100 times. And I think if it wasn't for the insecurity that the studios had, that Nev may not come back for the 7th installment, I think they would have killed Gail off in 6. But they figured we should keep her around. She may be the only legacy character that we really have, the original cast. So that is my thought on this. It can go any way, any direction, but certainly, other content creators have said it best. This is probably going to be a fan film where they're going to try to impress the audience and give you guys what you want to see. But more so, I think if this is indeed the last installment for the original storyline, the original Ghostface premise, having the original cast members in it at all, tying up loose ends, going all the way back to the beginning, which they've done many times, but I think this will probably be the last time we do this for the original Woodsboro murders. We may see a reboot 5-10 years from now, which might be a Ghostface, could be in a different town, could be a completely different story, unrelated to any of the original characters. Possible. But I think this will probably be the last of it for the original Woodsboro cast and the whole storyline. I'm not sure. I don't know what else they'd have left to write. If you really think about it, you're bringing back Nev after an absence. She's never not been in a film. So for her to come back, there's got to be a reason, right? There's got to be a reason for her to return to Woodsboro. She's either going to be pulled back in over something that happens. There could be a job opportunity for the hubby. There may be something that drives her back in, and this is when it's going to start. And I think we might just see a lot of the past characters and like some kind of memory or ghosts or some kind of very dramatic scene. Maybe, like I said, maybe there's going to be a scene where Nev is pretty much at death's door and she'll just have flashbacks of everybody. She'll see the ghosts of Roman. She'll see the ghost of Stu. She'll see the ghosts of Billy. Everybody kind of coming at her. I don't know. Maybe some kind of weird scene. And then, what would be nice, maybe she'll see Randy too. But what would be nice is if Dewey kind of came like right when she was about to maybe die and give up, a scene where she feels defeated. He comes and whispers something to her, like a message from up above, giving her the strength to keep going. That would be cool. I don't know if that's going to happen. I have no idea. But I see Dewey as that type of, I see him getting that kind of return because of the strength that he's helped give so many, the way that he's sacrificed his life so that others can live. I mean, he was the protector. He was the cop. He was the one that always went out on a limb to help everyone. So I think it's only deserving that you give him, you definitely bring him back. We got to see him again. And we see him in a way where he's once again doing something good and just like he always does. But we see him happy, like his spirit, happy, content, glad to be back, glad to still be looking over Sydney's shoulders and protecting, not bitter, right? I think that would be cool. Even though it might be all in Sydney's mind, but either way, like, I think that would be cool. That could have actually worked for 6 with Gail almost dying, since they were so close, they were partners, right? That would have actually been a good way to kind of keep Gail alive, give her the strength to keep going. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't think of that maybe, or they just thought it would be cheesy. But, I mean, they're already bringing back characters. We got 2 confirmed. Matthew confirmed. He's coming back. So, I think this is the movie to bring them all back. I think this will be one last, hurrah, where you can get everybody back in, give all the characters that died, that feel like they wish they could connect with their characters one last time. You can bring Tatum back. It's all good. You can bring any of them back. You could even bring Cotton Weary. I mean, never didn't really like Cotton that much, so I don't know if there's a need for him. But she might see him in a flashback. All the people affected, maybe even Drew Barrymore, Casey Becker. One kind of last thing of where all the spirits are surfacing, and then Dewey, that final warm soul ghost coming back, giving her the strength to keep going and not give up. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think that will happen? Do you think we'll see David Arquette back in Scream 7? Certainly I hope so, because we got at least some closure with Randy after his death, because we at least saw him again, in a good way, being himself, joking in part 3 when he was, supposedly recorded that video the same day of, it looks like, because he's wearing the same clothes. That would be really cool to see Dewey come back, because we haven't gotten that closure. It's like they killed him nasty, they did him raw, and they won't even give fans closure to see him again as Dewey, see David again as Dewey. I mean, I think that's pretty rough. Like they did him the worst, I think, out of all the characters, if you really ask me, because they went for it. They really went for it with his character, and it just was like so bad, because he was the most undeserving, and it was such a they clearly just wanted to piss people off. They clearly wanted to piss you off, scare you, because you can see that your favorite legacy characters are easily expendable when you really think about it. But ultimately, a lot of people were angry. Many felt Gail should have got it, but, ultimately we don't want to see any of the original characters get it. She'd probably be the more deserving because she's done a lot of dirty things and hurt a lot of people. She's not a killer. She wouldn't kill anybody, but nonetheless, she's probably the dirtiest of the 3. Dewey never hurt anybody, only protect. So, I don't know. Let me know down below what you think about this, where you think this film is going. Do you think this will be the last one? Feel free to comment down below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe on your way out. We'll be doing podcasts like this frequently, 1, 2, 3 times a day. Depends on what we got to talk about. There's going to be some other good stuff going on. This is a new channel. Your support would mean a lot to me. And if you want to stay in tune with updates, we'll be there to provide them for you. Open discussions, things that make us think about where these movies are going to go, what's really going to happen, and we can just have a conversation. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.